Hi everyone, it's Amy G with Pampered Chef, and I am here tonight to do a food demo for you. I'm going to be making air fryer stromboli, one of our absolute favorite easy weeknight meals in this household, and we make it of course in the air fryer. So I'm going to quickly show you the air fryer and what makes it so awesome, and then I will make the stromboli. And I couldn't go live in your party, which is why I'm doing a video late at night and I'm going to upload it later. But the benefit of that is you're not going to have to sit around and wait for things to cook, because I can cut things out of the video. So the air fryer. Okay, so this sucker is one of the things that everybody wants from Pampered Chef. It is very large. It's enough to really cook a meal for a family, not like some of the smaller ones that you can maybe make a batch of fries in. What I love most about it is that you have 2 trays. You can purchase a third tray, and there's room for a third tray to go in here. So you can cook a lot of food and you're not dealing with one of those stinking baskets. I had an air fryer that it had the basket, and I had to pull the basket out to look inside and see what was going on. I had to shake things in the basket to get them to cook evenly, and then you never knew what was going on unless you stopped it and looked inside, and then you couldn't even clean it because you couldn't submerge the thing in water. So I never liked all of that. When I saw that this had trays inside that go in the dishwasher, hello, I was sold on it. But on top of that, here are the 2 other things that I really love about it that I don't know if everyone else really appreciates as much as I do. Number 1, there's a light. So when you're cooking, you can push the light button, and I'm not going to do it right now because I'm not actually cooking, but you push the light button and it lights up just like your oven does, so you can see what's going on inside, which is totally different than those baskets where you're kind of clueless about what's happening. And my other favorite thing is that halfway through cooking, it doesn't matter if you're cooking for 4 hours or 2 minutes, halfway through it's going to beep gently. It'll just go beep, beep, beep. And that's to let you know if you want to switch your trays, it's time to switch your trays. Because if you've got 2 trays in here and you want it to cook evenly, you're just gonna switch places, and it takes care of that for you. I love that feature. It's not obnoxious like my microwave, but it's just enough for me to remember what to do. So we've got an air fry function, of course, bake, roast, so you can do your roasted vegetables in here on the trays. A rotisserie function. You can fit a 4-pound chicken on the rotisserie pole inside of here. It's got a rotate function, so you put it on rotisserie and you hit rotate, and it rotates your chicken and makes you a rotisserie chicken. And let me tell you, it is delicious, and you don't have to worry about what in the world they're doing with that and who's touching it, because you're making it yourself, not buying it at the grocery store. Then we have a reheat function. This is the only way you will ever heat up leftover pizza again, I promise you. It reheats perfectly, and frankly, for any leftovers, I always just toss it in there, reheat. Most of the time, it's the perfect amount. Sometimes you need to go a little bit longer. And then the last function is dehydrate. So you can make dehydrated apples, dehydrated strawberries, any of those things in here. Use them in your recipes, use them as snacks. It's really amazing. There are also some attachments that you can use with this. One of them is an air fry basket. I'm gonna grab that out so I can show you. So this basket goes inside. Toss your wings, vegetables for roasting, French fries, whatever you want. Toss it in here, and instead of having the trays in, it fits snugly inside, and you click the rotate function and it rotates and cooks them perfectly for you. There is also a fruit leather tray that I will put a post up of that. It's for making your own fruit roll-ups on the dehydrate setting. And there is a skewer attachment that you can purchase separately as well that makes the most delicious skewered meats and vegetables. And they, of course, rotate like this basket does. So that's it. That's why this air fryer is so awesome, and my kids use it for making toast. They know how to make all kinds of things in here, and I don't worry about them using it. They they know how to safely use the oven mitt to take the trays out, and I'm not worried as I would be if they were using the oven. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to move our air fryer over to my counter. This, although it is a larger size air fryer, it still fits below most cabinets. So it fits perfectly on my countertop, and it probably will on yours too. All right, so now on to making the stromboli. This has very few ingredients. The ingredients are pizza crust, Italian seasoning, mozzarella cheese, Parmesan cheese, pepperoni, and you do need a little bit of oil. So I have our pastry mat, which is flexible, floppy, roll it up, fold it up, squish it up. It still comes out perfectly for me. The thing I love about it is that it doesn't slide when I'm trying to roll stuff out. I mean, it's got a little bit of give, but nothing like a regular cutting mat would have. So the first step in making our air fryer stromboli is pizza crust. Now, the recipe calls for a classic pizza crust, the type that you purchase at the store. But I like to make my own crust. It does take a little bit longer to do that, of course, but it tastes so much better in my view that it's always worth it. And actually it doesn't take time to make it, but it does have to sit and rise for about a half an hour. And I will share that recipe with you. So I'm going to sprinkle some flour down before we roll out the dough. And this mat, I don't know if you can see, but it's got measurements for everything. Whether you want to make a little 4-inch, I guess not a biscuit, but maybe like a little tart or something like that, or a 12-inch pizza. You've got it all right here. And if you don't want to make your own pizza crust, like I said, you can just use the Pillsbury, not Pillsbury, is it Pillsbury? The kind that comes in the tube. That's what the recipe calls for, and that is perfectly fine. So we're gonna sprinkle some flour, and we're just going to spread our crust out. And what we really want is about 10 by 16 with our pizza crust, okay? So I'm going to measure about 10 by 16. This is our marble rolling pin, which is great for pushing around. You know, pizza crust can be kind of stubborn, but this is just great for letting you know who's boss. Okay, so I'm at about 16 that way, and so we want to go 10 this way. And once I get it to almost the size that I want it to be, I'll go ahead and switch over to my baker's roller to kind of stretch it out the rest of the way. But again, if you're using the Pillsbury pizza crust, classic pizza crust, this part's a little bit easier because it's not as stretchy. But we're pretty much there, okay? I'll get all the way to 10 inches on all the sides. Okay. All right, so we basically have a big rectangle at this point. What I like to do, because I'm crazy, is just try to make it nice and even. Flat edges make me happy, so that's what it's going to be. Okay, so now I have my pizza crust. And what we're gonna do is cut the 16-inch side, we're gonna cut that in half. So now I've got two, well, they're not very even, but that's okay, sections. And all we're gonna do now is sprinkle a little bit of our Italian seasoning. If you have not tried Pamper Chef seasonings, you are missing out. I dare you to buy one and dislike it. In fact, buy one and don't like it, and I will personally give you your money back or buy the seasoning from you, because I have not tried one that I don't love. And as a matter of fact, what I want to do is a photographic comparison of our seasonings and the kind that you buy at the grocery store, because there's just worlds of difference just by looking at them, much less the smell. So I've sprinkled some Italian seasoning. Next step is to add our pepperoni. And the recipe calls for you to use 40 pieces. I did super thinly sliced pepperoni. So basically what I do is I just cover the whole thing. That's really all you have to do. Make sure you're covering it. It's preference too. If you like extra cheese, extra meat, you can do whatever you want. You are the boss of you. So get that taken care of. And then we will move on to the 2 cheeses. Now I didn't pre-shred them because I wanted to share our coarse and fine microplane graters with you, but you can obviously, prep the cheese, or you can buy the pre-shredded cheese and it will go even faster. Of course, I'm talking a lot right now, which is why it's taking longer than it should, and I'm just talking straight into a video. All right, so there I've got my pepperoni. I'm going to move this out of the way and slide this down a tad. Okay, so I've got coarse and fine. This is what I'll use for the Parmesan, and this is what I will use for our mozzarella. I'll leave mozzarella first. Now, if you are my husband, what your preference is to just take the whole, this is what my husband does. And let me tell you, we own 2 of these because my husband uses it so much that he wanted to have one for when the other one was in the dishwasher. So this is all he does, okay? And honestly, I don't blame him. It works pretty well. You're just risking your fingers a tiny bit. The correct way is to cut your cheese into some chunks and do that inside of the cheese holder. Okay, so there's this holder that slides up and down. You stick your cheese right in here. My cheese has gotten kind of soft. And then it just goes. I should do it this way so you can see it better. Okay, and then when I'm out, I get some more cheese. And all we need is 1 cup of shredded cheese. So that won't take long at all. Now, the cheese that you buy that's pre-shredded is going to have different preservatives in it that keeps it from clumping. But what you get with the non-clump is also, it doesn't taste quite as good or melts quite as quickly. So that is why we definitely prefer our mozzarella cheese. Now, I did not measure this in the cup. I'm gonna say we're almost at 1 cup. It is 1 cup of shredded mozzarella that you need for this, but I am going to go ahead and just eyeball it, and we'll do a little bit more. And yes, I'm making a mess. It's the best way to cook, right? We love messes. All right, so you're gonna get a little nub there. Got a nub. Nubs are fine. We still love our nubs. Okay. And I think that is nice and cheesy. We're not gonna go overboard here. And then we'll do the same thing with our Parmesan. I did not have this pre-cut, so I'm just cutting it really quickly into a few little chunks. All right. We're gonna slide the bottom part on, and we're just gonna go to town with the Parmesan. See, can you see? You can see. Okay, and you can just see that so nicely. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh, and then once it starts to go in a little bit, you can add your food pusher, is what I call it. I'm not really there yet. It's still quite high. So we'll just keep doing this. Oh, it's so pretty. I just love beautiful, soft Parmesan cheese. I really do. Now it's ready. Now I'm gonna say my son doesn't like quite as much Parmesan, so I'm not gonna do a full cup. Isn't that great though? I hope you can see how it looks like snow. It really does. So we're just gonna shred that. That one little piece was more than enough Parmesan for us to use. Might even be a little bit too much if I'm being honest. We're not gonna use this. Okay. Messy, messy, messy. Now I like to leave a little bit of room on the edges because of the next part. So we're basically done. All we're gonna do now is roll them up. And seal the ends. You can seal them with something more formal, or you can just squish them together with your fingers. Sometimes use a fork. Whatever. Okay, we're gonna roll this one up. And again, we will seal the edges. If you put too much pepperoni or you go all the way to the edge, then sometimes you end up with a little bit squirting out of the sides, which you don't want. Okay, and I'm even gonna pinch this down at the bottom here. My dough is definitely getting very soft, so we need to act fast. All right, so we're gonna cut some slits in it. Santoku knife. It's an amazing knife. These little pockets here keep things from sticking to it. It's wonderful. We're gonna sprinkle a little Italian seasoning on top as well. Okay, and then I will get my air fryer trays. Two air fryer trays. Some air fryer parchment paper, and we will spray them. Okay, so we have our trays with a little piece of parchment paper. I don't think it's really necessary with this parchment paper because it's super silky, but we'll go ahead. This bad boy is called the Kitchen Spritzer, and it replaces your pan, and I don't know what I would do without it. How it operates, listen to this. Okay, that air coming out is air that I just pumped in, and that is how it spritzes the oil out, is by the air that you put in. So you're not getting any of those chemicals. And it works differently with olive oil, vegetable oil, grapeseed oil, different oil consistency. This comes out more as a stream and less of a spray. I personally don't care. I don't care how it comes out because it's always easier than like taking a paper towel with oil on it and trying to like put it inside of the donut hole pan or the brownie pan. You know, you can get oil all the places it needs to go without compromising your fingers. So I would just spread that a little bit, and then we will put our stromboli on the trays. They're going to cook for 14 minutes total. Halfway through, we will switch the trays. The instructions say halfway through, flip them over. I've never done that, and I don't think I'm going to start now. So we'll just see what happens. And okay, so I have my strombolis on these trays. I'm going to grab the air fryer and we'll show you how I put them in the air fryer, and then you'll be able to see me take them out. Okay, so I've got the air fryer back. I've got my stromboli ready to cook. One thing I didn't tell you, I have put an egg wash on this before to make it like shinier on top, but it's really not necessary. It does look prettier, but it doesn't taste any different. So we're gonna skip that. So I'm doing one at the bottom, one at the top. Okay, and I'm gonna set it on bake, and we're gonna turn it down to 14 minutes and press start. And then, like I said, halfway through it's going to beep. I will switch my trays and then it will cook the rest of the time. And then I'll be back to show you our final product. Okay, so we have just finished up here and I am going to take the stromboli out. Give you a little peek there. Okay, and I'm just going to pick it up using my, oh, these are actually the pasta tongs, but they have the extra grip. I love them for stuff like this. Okay, I'll put this aside and then move on to the next one. We are bursting with cheese. So when you use the pre-prepared crust as opposed to a homemade recipe like this, it's going to get a little bit browner. I guess that's just the difference in the crust. I have done it with the Pillsbury classic crust as well. All right, so what I would like to do is do a little slice here for you. You can see what we are working with. Isn't that fabulous? Looks delicious, doesn't it? So that is the air fryer stromboli. I'm going to slice them up using our bread knife so I don't squish them, and place them on our lovely platter. So I have our stoneware platter here, which you actually can cook on. So it's beautiful to serve on, but it also, you can cook your taco ring or whatever it may be right on the platter. This is our glazed stoneware, and I'm using it to serve tonight, but you also can use it to cook and serve without having to change places. So that is everything that I wanted to show you about this recipe. Like I said, it's a family favorite. I took a little longer making it because I was talking about everything that I was doing, but it is, as you can see, very simple. You put the crust down, you add the meat and the cheese, sprinkle some Italian, roll it up and stick it in the air fryer, and you are good to go. So I'm going to just show you our beautiful stromboli before my husband and my son attack it. There we are. And I'm serving it with just some, it's actually pizza sauce for them to dip it in, but any type of marinara or red sauce is usually a big hit with it. All right, well, thank you for watching, and I am happy to answer any questions you might have.